Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. I am Olakunle Kasumo. Printing is at the heart of book publishing, and that inevitably means it is at the heart of education, learning, and information dissemination. This remains true even in an age of digital publishing and reading. Printing is not dead, well, at least not yet. But what is the state of the printing industry in Nigeria? Did you know that most of the books used in schools in Nigeria are imported from Europe and Asia? Even when contents are developed locally, they are taken overseas to be printed and then imported back into the country. There is so much to consider when pondering on the printing industry in Nigeria. Our guest today is Femi Oluwalana. He is the managing director of Expand Press Limited, a printing company based in Lagos, Nigeria. Oluwalana has been in the printing industry for 30 years. He is a member of the Chartered Institute of Printers of Nigeria and has recently been elected to the council of the institute. He joins us to discuss the all-important subject of printing. Enjoy this. Mr. Femi Oluwalana, thank you for joining us on Channel's Book Club.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's nice to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here too.
You've been in printing for many years.
Yeah.
In Nigeria.
Yeah.
You run a printing press. You have seen perhaps thousands of books produced for people in Nigeria. What is the state of the printing industry in Nigeria? My understanding is that most of the books printed by Nigerians and for Nigerians are printed overseas, particularly when considering books used in schools, textbooks used in schools. And I mean, there are millions of copies of these books required every year, considering the number of students we have at different levels of schools. Why are most of those books being printed overseas? Some will even say as much as 70%. I don't know if you'll be able to confirm that. I don't have the figures. But why are most of those books printed overseas?
Well, it's a multi-tier of reasons. First of all, I must say that there is absolutely no challenge with printing those books locally, at least from the eyes of the printer. There's no challenge with printing the books locally. But you also, if you put yourself in the shoes of the publishers and some of the people who have to order books, definitely because of quite a few factors, which I will be discussing, printing is cheaper abroad. Cheaper abroad. In some countries abroad, not all countries. But when you look at places like China, look at places like Indonesia, printing in India. Printing is definitely cheaper. And the questions are why, for example. We have 3 paper mills in Nigeria that are either not functioning or near not functioning. The total capacity of these print mills was supposed to be in the range of about 260,000 tons a year. Now, you look at Indonesia, for example. I don't have all the figures, but the 2016 figure for Indonesia produced 7.94 million tons of paper. And their paper industry contributed to, I think, about 7% of their GDP. So there is no way that we may be able to match those prices for somebody who is printing, for an Indonesian printer, for example, who is getting his paper locally. One of the other things, I think I should mention it here, is that has contributed to it. That wasn't the plan when Nigeria signed to the agreement, but it has had that consequence. And by this, I'm referring to the UNESCO agreement, Florence Agreement.
Florence Agreement.
Yes, of which Nigeria is a party to. Now, that agreement provides for the flow of educational, scientific, free flow of educational, scientific, and cultural information. So what it does is you are saying you don't want to pay, you don't want to charge any duty,
Any tariffs,
or any tariffs. Thank you, on any of those materials, but it didn't anticipate a situation like we're in, the kind of situation we're in, where local content is going out and is being brought back as finished goods.
taken out,
so,
printed,
and brought back, imported back. So it's actually killing our industry, killing the printing industry in the long run. But again, you must always also put yourself in the mind of a business person. If I can get it cheaper, why don't I go after? So go ahead.
So you're saying that those books are taken out, printed overseas because they are cheaper.
Yes.
Some also say because of capacity in terms of speed.
Yes.
That if you're going to print 5 million books,
yes,
it's cheaper there,
yeah,
and it's faster there, and they can deliver more quickly than the local printers. Are you a local printer?
Yes.
What's your take on that?
My take is that we need to change our mindset and mentality about the way we do things. If you know that you are going to print 5 million books, why wait till 1 month? Why wait till 1.5 months? You already knew that you were going to print 5 million books. Can the industry in Nigeria handle 5 million books? Comfortably. The industry in Nigeria can cater for even well over that quantity. Speed is another issue entirely. We may not be able to deliver your 5 million books if you give it to one, if you spread it around, definitely you can deliver. But typically what happens is that it's not spread around. It's given to maybe a handful of people. But if you spread it around, it's not a problem.
But there are local printing presses overseas that can deliver that number.
Well,
single printing presses. But I agree with you about timing.
Not 5 million. Not 5 million. No, not 5 million. We have, the likes of the factories that used to print the Time magazines, the Newsweek magazines of this world, and they would have print runs of 190,000 per night and things. And these are highly automated things. See, the other thing we need to look at is that in all of those areas, the cost of labor
is also cheaper.
It's extremely expensive in all those places.
More expensive.
More expensive. But you see, we have the benefit of cheap labor here. We have the benefit of cheap labor. We can still accomplish the same quality. We can accomplish, and then we will be employing more people.
But there's also the factor of power. Power is cheaper there.
Yes,
much more expensive there. Yes. And some other costs are also a lot lower there.
Yes. So power is cheaper. For example, we pay duties on consumables that we bring in. We pay duty on paper. We pay duty on paper. We pay duty on the consumables that we bring in. To Nigeria.
Ink materials.
Ink. So between 5 and 30%, we pay up to 30% duty. So there is no way that with all these input costs, that our costs
can be competitive enough.
That can be competitive enough. A lot of all those other countries have had government interventions. And they have also, part of the intervention is also to be able to help them compete favorably internationally. Here we have the population that can consume all of those books that are produced here. We have no reason to go out if we have the right environment. So this is part of what I was recently, I'm not here, I must state here that I'm not representing the council here today, but I was recently elected into the Council for Print in Nigeria. And those are some of the things that issues that we plan to take on with government. You know, the printing industries of America, they have a special group whose job is to just liaise and work with government so that government can also see things from the side. One of the things that I must also mention is that, you know, we are complaining so much about unemployment and the indices of employment. The paper industry, for example, in Indonesia, I like to use Indonesia, Malaysia, because they are near us and you can compare, you know, a bit to us. The paper industry in Indonesia, again from the statistics that I have, as of 2016, employed 260,000 people directly and 1.1 million people indirectly.
Wow.
I mean, you can imagine if government decides to focus on this area, you can imagine the quantum of employment that
I can imagine it. I mean,
that would be generated.
Considering the millions of students in schools.
In schools, yes.
And the number of texts. Let's say one student needs about 5 textbooks.
Yes, yes.
In a year.
So just do the maths.
Just do the maths.
Yes, yes.
Multiply that by 30 million or whatever numbers we have. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. But I'm going to say something now.
Yes.
I don't want to indict anybody. I won't mention any name or whatever. Yeah. I was in a printer's shop in Dubai.
Yeah.
And I saw being designed some materials for the office of some governors in Nigeria.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I say materials, I don't mean I'm talking about call cards and diaries.
Yeah.
So, and when I saw it, I said, are you guys printing this thing here? He said, yeah, they do. You get these orders from estates in Nigeria. They say, yeah, from the governor's office. I said, yes. Amazing. Print call cards.
Yes.
Diaries. That's the most basic thing to print, isn't it?
Yes.
They're being taken overseas, printed overseas, you know, and all that. So it got me really worried that what's happening to the local printers in Nigeria? Is it a cultural thing that whatever is foreign is better? Or what's going on?
Yes, I think that we owe it to ourselves and the nation as a whole and the generations to come to change the narrative about the printer. I actually struggled a bit. Typically, I wear a bow tie. And one of those reasons is that nobody expects to see a printer in a tie. Not to even talk about, you know, a bow tie. But you see, we must change the narrative. I remember when I just began printing, I had an institution I used to deal with. And the CEO of the institution used to have a problem introducing me as a printer, just because of the mindset that they have had, you know, about printers. You know, I stand to say here, I got into printing I was doing my MSc in architecture at the time that I got into printing. Oh, no, I was finishing my BSc. This is in 1989. So I've been in the industry for 30 years. And the industry today has a myriad of, you know, professionals. And so the narrative must change. The narrative must change. And that is what I'm hoping that we can do, you know, and enlighten people more about the narrative.
So if I'm hearing you well, it is this notion, this idea of printers, local printers, that our people have.
Yes.
That is part of the reasons why they are taking some of these jobs overseas to print rather than printing locally.
Yes.
So it's a combination of not having the right environment that can bring down costs.
Yes.
And also that cultural mindset.
Yes, there's a cultural
that makes people believe
mindset
that overseas is better.
Yeah.
We don't have so much time again, but let me a quick one. Quick one. People always ask me this.
Yeah.
If I were to print an average size book of 90,000 words, 250 pages, locally, what would be the range?
Well, again,
it depends on a lot of factors.
Yes.
Just give me a general range.
I think that
1,000 copies.
1,000 copies, 500 naira, 600 naira.
Thereabout.
Yeah, 600 naira. And I know that you can sell for 1.9, 1,900, 1,500.
Okay.
I know, yes.
That's for everybody out there that wants to print a book.
Yeah, yeah.
Mr. Oluwalana, thank you. We've run out of time. It's been a pleasure having this conversation with you.
I'm glad
I hope we can bring you back here.
I look forward to coming back. I do look forward to coming back.
Let's do it again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.